Jonah did not wake up one day and decide to ruin his life. It happened slowly. One late night became many. One missed bill became several. One skipped walk became a body that always felt heavy. One "I'll do it tomorrow" became a life full of unfinished things. From the outside, Jonah looked fine. He smiled at work. He answered messages with jokes. He told people he was just tired. But inside, everything felt messy. His room was messy. His mind was messy. His bank account was messy. His habits were messy. Every morning, his alarm rang at 6:30. Every morning, he hit snooze. Then again. Then again. By the time he finally got up, he was already late, already anxious, already irritated with himself. He rushed through the day like someone trying to catch a train that had already left. At night, he promised himself things would change. Tomorrow, I will wake up early. Tomorrow, I will clean the room. Tomorrow, I will start exercising. Tomorrow, I will fix my money. Tomorrow, I will become disciplined. But tomorrow always arrived looking exactly like yesterday. One Friday evening, Jonah came home exhausted. He dropped his bag on the floor, stepped over a pile of laundry, and sat on the edge of his bed. His phone buzzed. A message from his younger sister. "Are you okay? You haven't sounded like yourself lately." Jonah stared at the message. For a moment, he wanted to type, "I'm fine." That was his usual answer. But this time, he could not lie. He looked around the room. The dishes. The clothes. The unopened letters. The empty water bottles. Then "I don't think I am." That night, Jonah did not make a big plan. He had made big plans before. They always collapsed. Instead, he took out a small notebook and wrote one sentence. "Tomorrow, I will make my bed." That was all. Not fix my life. Not become a new person. Not change everything. Just make the bed. The next morning, his alarm rang. He wanted to hit snooze. But he remembered the notebook. With heavy eyes and no motivation, Jonah sat up. He pulled the blanket straight, placed the pillow neatly, and stood back. The bed was made. It looked small. Almost silly. But for the first time in weeks, he had kept a promise to himself before the day had even begun. That feeling stayed with him. The next day, he made the bed again. On the third day, he made the bed and opened the curtains. On the fourth day, he made the bed, opened the curtains, and drank a glass of water before touching his phone. He did not become perfect. He still had bad days. Some mornings, he made the bed badly. Some mornings, he wanted to quit. Some mornings, the old heaviness came back, but the habit was small enough that he could return to it. That was the secret. Big changes often fail because they ask too much from a tired person. Small habits work because they give a tired person somewhere to begin. After 2 weeks, Jonah added one more habit. He wrote 3 lines every morning. "What needs my attention today? What can wait? What is one thing I can finish?" At first, the answers were simple. Laundry. Email. Buy groceries. But slowly, his mind became clearer. He realized his life did not need one dramatic rescue. It needed small repairs, repeated daily. One Saturday, Jonah cleaned one corner of his room. Not the whole room. Just one corner. The next weekend, he cleaned another. Then he paid one overdue bill. Then he cooked one simple meal. Then he walked for 10 minutes after work. His progress was not dramatic enough for social media. There was no perfect transformation montage. No sudden glow up. No instant success. But there was something better. There was evidence. Evidence that he could trust himself again. Because every time Jonah completed one small promise, he rebuilt a little piece of self-respect. Months later, his sister visited. She walked into his apartment and looked around. It was not perfect. But it was calmer. The bed was made. The floor was clear. There was fruit on the counter. A notebook sat beside the window. She smiled and said, "You seem different." Jonah looked around the room. Then he said, "I stopped trying to fix my whole life in one day." His sister softly. "What did you do instead?" Jonah looked at the bed. "I started with that." The truth is, most people do not need more shame. They already know what is messy. They already know what is late. They already know what hurts. What they need is a starting point small enough to touch. Because when life feels too heavy, change everything becomes impossible. But make the bed is possible. Drink water is possible. Walk for 10 minutes is possible. Pay one bill is possible. Send one message is possible. Clean one corner is possible. And possible is powerful. If your life feels overwhelming right now, Do not begin with the mountain. Begin with one stone. One tiny habit. One small promise. One action you can repeat even when motivation is low. You do not rebuild a life by hating yourself into discipline. You rebuild it by proving, gently and consistently, that you are still capable. Jonah's life did not change because he became a different person overnight. It changed because one morning, when everything felt messy, he made his bed. And that small act told him, I am not finished. I can begin again. If you needed this reminder, like, share, and subscribe for more gentle motivation, simple habits, and life lessons that help you start again.